Now we go to the next part, which is consumers. So we did global, we did tech, we did consumers. Remember, if you're going to be a cultural leader in terms of my point of view, you have to understand the big picture and how all these big buckets are shaping society and business. So now we're on consumers. And before we go to Franklin, who's the expert and deals with this on a day-to-day basis, I just wanted to tell you about the trends that I have been observing as I observe what's happening in terms of the media business and the entertainment business. And many of you might, and I had spoken a little bit about this in prior classes, but I'm putting it all together in this class because we have Franklin. And basically, I'm just going to go through with some examples. So obviously the first thing that has been happening, and this is no surprise because we are all at our homes streaming like crazy and maybe even buying new platforms, is that streaming platforms are proliferating. Customers are buying new ones, dropping new ones, doing new ones, and this is what most people are spending our time doing. And at the same time, whereas distribution of content directly to the consumer is at an all-time high, production of content has halted because people can't come together and socially distance when they're being paid to make out with somebody or punch somebody in the face on the screen. So that obviously is the first one. And in terms of the streaming platforms, that we have, there's, Netflix we had Amazon Prime for a while, and Hulu, which is doing much better. All the other legacy cable-oriented networks have gone over the top as well. OTT, a lot of people aren't in the media business, so just to explain, OTT means over the top, jumping over the cable that basically gave you the content. But recently, since coronavirus, we saw the launch of Quibi, which is Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman. And I think in the last 2 weeks, they're up to 2.7 million users, and they're basically quick bites, if you didn't know, of content that goes directly to your mobile device. We had, Disney Plus launched beforehand. We had Peacock, which is the NBC Universal platform. I haven't heard too much about it, but maybe Franklin knows. And then the last one major one that's going to be launched at the end of May, they were supposed to be launched sooner, and they were going to launch with the fanfare and the spectacle of the Friends United episode, is not being released or launching until the end of May. So that's one thing that's happening. The other thing in terms of direct-to-consumer what's been happening is that because we can't go to the movie theaters, Universal was one of the first movie studios that basically released direct-to-consumer. You could buy a pay-per-view for $19.95. And this has always been a struggle between content creators or even Netflix and the movie theaters, because originally in the business, it launched in movie theaters first, and then there was a window where we got to see it on TV. And because of the new world that we live in, that window has collapsed. Now, what's interesting to me is that they've made over $100 million, Universal, by releasing this movie directly onto your television, right? And the other thing that's happening is that because of that, the movie theaters are fighting back. And Universal, in the next few days, there's going to be huge fights between the movie theaters, the exhibitors who want the movie first, and the people who are the studios who create the content. So that's an interesting thing to me, and obviously a lot of people in the business. And again, I want to hear from Franklin in terms of his opinion on that. But in the rest of the country, 49 malls are going to open. Movie theaters, we're not sure if they're going to open directly, if people will want to go to them. But there has been much speculation in the same way that retail and restaurants and every other business is speculating, even though nobody really knows what's going to happen. At the same time, people are actually going to restaurant parking lots, and this is a way to make money for these restaurants that can't accommodate you inside. And I guess that's not really socially distancing, and basically going to drive-in movie theaters, which is something that hasn't been in our culture in a really long time. Same thing in other business, drive-through. Restaurants are going to really do drive-throughs, and pickup shopping is going to be probably a cultural change moving forward. The next thing, the next trend is, instead of creating content in production, I've been calling it quarantine content, where celebrities, as we've seen in several cases, are creating their own shows on YouTube, like John Krasinski. We're seeing many doing like live shows. We're seeing Saturday Night Live doing it directly from their homes. American Idol is going to do directly from the participants' homes. I've been calling it Zoomification, or the consumerization of pop culture, where these shows, here's Sesame Street. It's great if you haven't seen it, the quarantine, the self-distancing Elmo episode. So we're seeing media being changed in the way that we're interacting with everybody now. The other thing that has been happening is a continuation since the Global Citizen concert that was very successful. I think they raised $127 million, is continuing, Global Citizen, in many different examples. So this weekend, if you haven't heard, Oprah Winfrey is leading with Lil Nas X and Miley Cyrus, going to be doing a live stream graduation. Another example is that film festivals now in the film are basically going to team up together. Tribeca Film Festival is one of them, and showing the movies, a free global festival on YouTube. You have, we're going to have a GLAAD special where Gay Lesbians Against Defamation doing a program that's going to be celebrating the LGBTQ community. We are going to, if you haven't seen, even celebrations like Sondheim, the Broadway musician, producer, etc. It was his 90th birthday, and you had everybody for 2 hours come together and celebrate and sing his songs. Even in the food world, this was just announced today that Bon Appetit is going to have a YouTube variety show benefiting. So again, another example of content that is benefiting society. And so that is the second trend that's happening in the entertainment business right now. The third, participation in mass celebrations. Celebrities jumping to new platforms is really interesting to me. So in Hollywood culture, from what I've known, and I have many clients in the entertainment business, celebrities, even though they've been doing social media stuff, and you have Chrissy Teigen, talking on, I always use her as an example because I love her Instagram feed. They never really thought about building, and I'm not saying nobody has, there are, like, Ed Norton has invested in research firms, and Ashton Kutcher was one of the first investors in Airbnb, but they never really thought about how could we use these different kind of platforms to elevate the type of content that we produce. And this is a time where we see celebrities using new platforms or thinking about using new platforms to connect with an audience. So, and it's not just the usual ones. You see celebrities or you see musicians basically using new websites like Stage It, or last week we talked about Wave, where they're using these platforms to use these type of platforms for performances, DJs, etc. And they can make money off of it too. There's merchandising, there are merchandising and ticketing capabilities. Here at DJs, they're not getting paid now, but maybe they will with these new platforms. A lot of people have been talking about Fortnite, which is the big, I think I mentioned it last week as well, the games as a service, where it's free and then you could purchase different things. And Travis Scott played at Fortnite and had over 12.7 million people watching his concert in Fortnite. Think about it, in a game. And I'm just going to show this because it's fascinating to me.
off the Remy, had up at Coast. Had to hit my old town to duck the news.
So, interesting example. I'm going to actually put that in the chat if you want to see it later. I'll do it in, here we go. There you go. Enjoy. But 12.7 million, and look how many people actually saw it on this one YouTube. So almost 10 million people. So that's fascinating to me. And everybody's talking about the hottest new game, which is Animal Crossing. And actually, another way to show your content is that the Met is actually putting their art collections into this simulation type game that is the most successful game right now during our quarantine in the coronavirus era. So, so you're walking around, you're doing stuff, you're buying stuff, and then, you know, there's ways to exhibit. Maybe there will be, you know, Barbara Streisand, since most moms like it, performing in the middle of this one game. So, and then many brands could work together, and maybe these are new ways to make money. And then the last thing I just wanted to say, even Formula One drivers, right, are switching to esports. So here you have another example of a piece of talent or some type of talent that is switching to new mediums digitally to continue their careers and maybe profit off it in the future. Now, a lot of them are doing it for free, like I said, but they could gain an audience, like DJ Nice, who had over 100,000 people, and that might propel them into a new digital business, whatever the digital world is going to look like. And we all know that it is accelerating. I want to just jump through these last two things. I talked a little bit last week about how influencers are finding new ways to make money because they can't. And there was a crazy, this is, I don't know, influencer celebrities. And there was an article in the New York Times about how influencers are telling people that they can, and I'm going to show this, if they follow them and do this one thing, the video, it's a long article, it's good. Maybe I can't find it. Here we go. Oh, the link is given away. Crazy. All right, no, here it is. So basically, here you have an influencer saying that she's going to give $10,000 away, and basically to get those $10,000, you have to basically follow a bunch of people that she says you have to follow. So here's a company. I'm a doctor. I want to be an influencer right now. I pay this company a shitload of money to raise my profile. That company gives the influencer money to basically go on social media and basically say, oh, to all my fans, I'm going to give you $5,000. I know you all need the money right now. And then there's all these people, oh my God, I really need it, and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, if you need the money, come here and go to this link and follow like literally 100 people. And maybe a few times. So this is ways that influencers are making money. I showed this other example last week where another trend I'm seeing in media is the personalization of media. Now you have a direct relationship with the celebrity, and they're using such platforms like Cameo. And I showed this last week as well, but there's so many of them, and I wanted to review it again because we have the entertainment guru here, Franklin, we're going to get to in 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. Basically, she'll sing happy birthday to you. And she's saying supporting her charity, request $2,500. But, you know, there are other celebrities who are just saying, like, I'll just do this for anybody. And you just have to pay me directly. So I'm calling that the personalization of media right now. But the great thing about social media right now, if you are a good influencer or a celebrity, TikTok just launched their donation stickers where any creator could put a donation sticker and you could donate through them directly. And Facebook, which I've been being a little bit skeptical about because they keep copycatting. Remember before, Snapchat would do this, Facebook would take it. Snapchat would do this, Facebook would take it. Now, and Facebook and Instagram, as you know, is the same. And Instagram had that as well, but it's just interesting to me that, and by the way, I love Facebook. I just, you know, try to see the other side. That Instagram did have these stickers, but now they're allowing people to fundraise for nonprofits while live streaming, and it could go directly to the nonprofit. So great stuff. I'm just saying it's always interesting to me how all the social networks compete with each other, and Facebook keeps going to be ahead. Another thing, the last thing I'll say, is that I think the next trend may be in terms of the personalization of celebrity or influencers. As the New York Times talked about yesterday, mainly brands are going to start using SMS, but could media people use SMS as well to go directly to their consumer? Because as we know, with all this digital technology, there's a huge fire hose that's going to continue. So what's the next platform? It was TikTok, which is rising in value, or consumer clout. But would people really want people to direct them texting them? Maybe Caitlyn Jenner will text you directly and ask for money. So that's just my observations and connecting the dots.